What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I am back with a video. This time once again, I have great news. As only 2 weeks into the season, the new NBA rules seem to be working perfectly. And I think it's safe to say, we can all celebrate the end of basketball like this.
Rockets have the numbers. Harden's got a corner man in Chris Paul, but he's tied up. And a whistle.
Like this.
What? Hey, I tell you what, that's a takedown by James Harden.
And like this.
Harden drives on George and draws the foul.
That era of basketball seems to be over in the NBA, and I could not be happier, as watching that basketball for the past 5 years has been super irritating and downright discouraging. And these new rules, I would say, they do target some players more than others, James Harden, Trae Young, and those guys in particular aren't exactly thrilled about the new rule changes. But in this video today, I'll explain why those changes 100% needed to happen, and it's better for the NBA going forward. Now before I get into that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please make sure to do so, and if you could like this video, I greatly appreciate it. So that being said, let's get into the video. So right now for the 2022 season, a lot is going on, but I think the rule changes have been a big time story that piques a lot of fans' interest, as these new set of rules eliminate non-basketball plays, offensive arm bars, abrupt stops, and pump fake jump-in jump shots. And most importantly, the defense can be more physical and have an actual fair chance to guard an offensive player. And like I said before, in 2017, 2018, that was the peak of the foul baiting in a James Harden type of basketball, which in my personal view, I did not like. I'm not saying I hate James Harden, but I think from a consumer standpoint, the majority of fans were sick of that basketball and that style of play. And a lot of NBA fans, as well as some coaches, say the NBA rules are targeting James Harden. And yes, I 100% agree, these rules do target a player like James Harden who can foul bait and draw fake phantom fouls. And if you look at Harden this year in a very small sample size, he's made 5 free throws per game, the third lowest of his career, and taken 5.7 attempts, also the third lowest of his career. And for James Harden, those numbers are absolutely unheard of, as from 2013 to 2020, he attempted 10 plus free throws 7 different times. And from 2015 to 2020, he was the NBA leader in free throws with 4,251 made free throws. To put that in perspective, during the same stretch, Harden made 4,197 field goals. And if you want to look at the NBA in general this year, teams are making 15.4 free throws, the lowest in NBA history, and attempting exactly 20, which is also the lowest in NBA history. And some of the NBA stars from the past were great at getting free throw attempts, like Bradley Beal, Trae Young, and Dame Lillard, are all below 5 attempts. Beal's at 4.8, Trae's at 4.3, and Dame is at 4 exactly. Now once again, the sample size is very small, but I think already these rules have had a big time effect on the game's play style. And also you have to note teams in the NBA this year are taking 35.9 threes per game, that is the most in NBA history. So really to summarize it, teams are taking more threes than ever and getting to the basket at an historically low rate. And if you're an NBA fan, that stat is not really shocking. And one thing I have noticed is a very good sign is that referees allow the defense to be more physical with the offensive players. It's not like the 90s or the 2000s, but it's a lot better than it was in past years. It's not this crazy.
With the Knicks, sometimes we foul the same player twice on one play.
But still, players are more physical, and it's better for the overall product and the balance of the game. And as you guys know, I'm more of an old school basketball fan, and the thing I hate about the late 2010s is that offense was so empowered and defense was at a major disadvantage. Back in the mid-90s, basketball had a very good balance of play where defense could be physical, but the offense could also initiate contact and get free throws at a pretty good rate. Hopefully going forward, we see more of a balance, and referees call the game in the offense's favor as well as the defense's favor from night to night. And back in 2019, when I knew offense had gotten out of control, is when an NBA rookie from overseas, Luka Doncic, said basketball in the NBA is easier to score than in Europe. That right there is a big indictment on the modern NBA and some of its superstars. And even Luka's game has had to adjust, as he was one of the players who foul baited and drew phantom fouls on a regular basis. But even he had to acknowledge it's easier to score in the NBA than it was in Europe, which once again is a major indictment on modern day basketball. And the last thing I have to say in this video is that many older NBA fans always say players in this era wouldn't be as good in past eras. And in many examples, I agree with those fans. As you've seen this year in a small sample size, how much of a difference referees can make in the overall physicality of a game, and getting less free throws and cheap fouls affects players' stats in a big-time way. That's why the 90s and the 2000s had way less scoring, as once again, it was a more balanced game, and some years, it was actually in the defense's favor. And to clarify, players like Trae Young, Steph Curry, James Harden, if they played in the 90s, they would no doubt be great players in my own personal view, but their overall stats and numbers wouldn't be as gaudy as they are in this era due to free throws as well as three-pointers. And a lot of older NBA fans, when talking about legends, they say guys like Jordan, Kobe, even a T-Mac and an Iverson would come close to averaging 40 points per game in the modern NBA. And once again, after these rule changes, you can see why they said that. It wasn't just the cheap little bump fouls, the touch fouls, the jump-in fouls, it was also the spacing of the NBA and the lack of a big man presence. Those all-time great players would feast at the rim, and with the driving lanes being a one-on-one game, it would be easy buckets for many all-time great players. And once again, I do believe someone like Jordan, and even an 06 Kobe, could come very close to averaging 40 points per game if they really put their mind to it. And I do hope Adam Silver and the refs don't go back on these rules and kind of adjust to the players. I hope defense still gets empowered and the game becomes more physical and less offensive. Because like I said before, in the late 2010s, offense had a big time advantage over the defense. And if players like Trae Young complain, I would say let them complain. You have to adjust the rules on the court and avoid these phantom fouls and these little baiting jump shots. In my own personal view, that is not basketball. Go to your local park, your rec center, and try doing that in a pickup game. I guarantee players on the court will look at you like you're insane if you pull a James Harden flop or a Trae Young flail on a jump shot. So that right there is a very quick video on the NBA rule changes and how they made the game a better, more balanced product for the fans as well as the players. And going forward, I hope defense makes a major comeback in the 2020s. So as always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.